Hi, everyone. Welcome to our small business webinar. I'm pleased to be hosting this. And I just first of all wanted to say we do have closed captioning available on our website. And that URL is https://sd37.senate.ca.gov. Again, sd37.senate.ca.gov. And I think we'll post that in the comments as well. This meeting will be recorded and available on our website as well, so feel free to share this. So my name is Dave Min, and I have the pleasure of serving as the senator for California's 37th Senate District in the heart of Orange County, which includes my hometown of Irvine, towns like Newport Beach, Laguna Beach, Costa Mesa, Tustin, Orange, Villa Park, and others. It's an exciting community, and we're very, very reliant on small business to power our local economy. I'm a lifelong Californian. I did go out east for college and law school in the first part of my career. This is not really in my bio, but I actually, after graduating from the Wharton School of Business undergraduate, I went off and my first job was in a startup. And that startup ended up failing in 2001 with the downturn that we had. Our financing got pulled, but while I went on and did law and economics and economic policy for my career, I've always held a special appreciation for those who are able to risk their own capital, their own reputations, their own lives on opening up any kind of small business. It's a huge endeavor, and it is obviously very, very important for our economy across the country and, of course, in California. And so, appreciate all that you do and the institutions you represent. Now, obviously, since taking office, I took office in December 2020, we faced some incredible challenges. Statewide, locally, COVID-19 has posed tremendous hurdles to just making a buck. And so I have put my efforts first and foremost on trying to help small businesses both in the near term and in the long term. And I was proud to be a principal author of SB 87, which added $2.1 billion to the California Small Business COVID-19 Relief Program. We later doubled that program to have $4 billion available to new rounds of applicants. In our district alone, in the first 6 rounds of this grant, we were able to